think it's important to remember, you know, if we look back, say, 20 years, where we've been and where we've come to as well, we are a much more informed society now as well as to what information people are looking for. You know, they are wanting more and more information to make a decision from their schemes. I mean, from final salary schemes, there's a wealth of information and they're very good. But when you come to DC, there is a lot of choice out there for people. But because there's a wealth of options, or some options they don't even know about as well, they get confused. So they need to talk to people specifically, maybe just general guidance, maybe not financial advice. But a lot of people do tend to need financial advice because, especially in the future now, we won't just have one DC pot. There will be multiples, especially with the auto-enrolment down the line. You know, we are going to have multiple pots.
I think that's quite interesting, actually. We found with some of our clients that where we were providing educational seminars at retirement, in the early days, a lot of the feedback we got was, this has been fantastic. It's opened up my eyes to what the options are, what the pros and cons of those various options are. However, the real issue that they had is, this would have been fantastic if we could have had this 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And quite interestingly now, a lot of those clients where we did interventions effectively at retirement, so same as you, Simon, when they call you, a lot of those, and I would say if I was to put, you know, what is the average age they're now doing those interventions, I would say at 45 plus. So on the basis that, you know, people aren't probably going to retire until they're 60, then actually that I always say it gives them a rain check. You know, at 45, they know where they are, but they've got time to rectify or make certain decisions before they're likely to retire. So that's important. The other thing I was just going to pick up that you mentioned, Simon, as well is you know, the word information, and this might sound quite pedantic, but one of the things that we come across as well is the trouble with information is information by its very nature is passive. So you're asking someone to look at a brochure, to go to an intranet site, and to look at someone. So, you know, they've got to have the desire to go and do it and understand why they're doing it. They've got to understand it once they get there, and then they've hopefully going to do something about it, unless they think that their position is so fantastic that they don't need to do anything. Whereas education should be an interactive learning exercise that takes place over a number of years. So I think it's really, and you know, we've delivered tens and thousands of these things, seen tens of thousands of employees on these things. So it's really important to understand that we can actually see people make better decisions if it is true educational learning, as opposed to expecting people just to go and look at a brochure or look at an internet site.
Sure. Oh, that's interesting. William, what are your...
I was just going to say, sort of talking more generally about the trustees' role in all this. I mean, from my experience, firsthand and talking to other trustees, it seems to me trustees in terms of investments for DC members really seem to focus on the choice of funds that are made available. They'll put a lot of effort into the charges that are associated with those funds, and they'll spend an awful lot of time and money with consultants coming up with lifestyling strategies. Now, all these things and the advantages that a member gets out of the choices that the trustees make for them can be wiped away by one decision that the member makes at retirement.